Actually, I'll just go. What size is that?
That's an 8.5 by 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll drop off.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's hard.
So everything is, here's the go-to meeting.
All here.
Is that?
Oh, it's 9:01. Okay.
Wait,
That
wait,
clock.
wait, wait.
7:01.
Okay.
Or it's
wait a
7:01.
second.
Yeah, 19.
Like
Clock.
2 hours.
I have 19:01, so
Okay.
I
And then
dropped the one.
we are recording.
Okay. All right. Verizon time says it's 1 minute after. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Borough Council meeting. I'm calling tonight's meeting to order. Please read the sunshine notice.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the 2022 meeting dates was published in the Courier News and Burnersville News on December 9th, 2021, and posted at the Municipal Complex in the Borough Library. Action may be taken.
Please stand for the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Caminetti.
Here.
Council President Corliano.
Here.
Councilwoman Dietrich.
Here.
Councilman Lemma.
Here.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman Sweeney.
Here.
Mayor Skinner.
I am here. Okay, opening up the public comments, 5 minutes per person for non-agenda items. It's the policy of the Borough Council that all public comments on an issue shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. Comments shall be made on any non-agenda subject pertaining to borough issues. Comments pertaining to public hearings should be saved for that section of the agenda. There will be no debating between residents, and comments should be addressed to the mayor and council at the public microphone, or if anybody is online on your device. Anybody? Is there anybody online?
There's nobody online.
Okay, all right. Closing the public comment section for non-agenda items. Moving on to old business, signage in the municipal building.
Yes, I have a quick update on behalf of our, Amy and my ad hoc committee. We received quotes for the new signage for the town, and they're ready to proceed with that. Meg Walters has been absolutely instrumental in managing that process for us. The question is the sign down in the front of the municipal building. So we looked into the basics of making it digital, or at least a digital portion. And the cost, we don't have a firm estimate, but we believe because it would be a semi-custom electronic sign, including the wiring, would be in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. So before we execute that sign, we wanted to get the council's opinion on whether that's an expenditure we find is worthwhile, or if we should proceed with the update to the municipal building sign without that. It can always be added later if we should find grant money or some other source of funding.
I'm not sure whether this is something we're gonna find grant money for, but I just think the need to be able to communicate information is just, it's too important. We spent a lot more than that on our radio station that that unfortunately didn't get nearly as much use, but it's a way to communicate with people. When if the phone lines go out, it's just gives us a little more redundancy for not for emergencies. I would do it.
I actually respectfully disagree. I understand the need for the communication. We do have the portable sign. If there's a once-in-a-decade emergency, we put it out. But what I'm most concerned about, John, isn't the expense of the sign as much as does the digital sign in front of our historic town hall really go with the design and aesthetic, thank you, of the town. I just don't think it would. I think it would change it too much. So I wouldn't be in favor of it for that reason. And we do have the backup of the portable digital sign for emergencies.
See, I would actually counter that the portable signs are more of an eyesore than something that's been designed to fit in with its environment would be.
Right, but in an emergency, it's like I said.
Plus, it
once in a
replaces.
decade.
I also see it replaces the sandwich boards, which also, you could say they're quaint, but they're really, it can be an eyesore, especially when there's multiple ones lined up.
I don't disagree about that.
Go ahead, Amy.
Oh, I was just going to agree with Don's comments, and then also I feel like the digital, the look of the digital could change so much in even 10 years. So spending that money on a look that I think the quality of digital will change 10 years from now. Who knows what it'll even look like? And so I'm worried that that'll become dated pretty quickly if we try that approach.
Yeah, I mean, the technology definitely changes pretty fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Dawn. I don't think it fits with the aesthetic of the town in front of the, this particular building. I understand your point about communication. It would be easy, it'd be less expensive, it'd be less bulky than the mobile signs. So I'm tending to agree with Dawn, although if we could maybe see a few images of what the sign would possibly look like.
Did you save any of those? I don't think I did.
Because I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if it's
I'd
just
have
a
to dig
single
into my
digital strip
email.
at the bottom that would be dark when nothing is.
It was 2 or 3 lines of digital lettering.
But I tend to lean away from it.
If I find something, I'll show it to you.
GB? Kind of going last, though.
I think that there's an argument to be made for notification under emergency conditions. The question is, how quickly does that come up? How often does it come up? And does the portable sign, in the way that Don was describing, do that job? To Don's point, there's something else you mentioned too, Don, about looking at grant funding and availability. And for emergency notification systems, there's a lot of grant money available. So I don't want to discourage us from looking into that more actively, and then maybe making the decision as we go forward, as we gather more information, more ideas, things about the aesthetics. I agree that electronics change quickly, and I'm especially leery of having something which is custom made and then all of a sudden it no longer becomes serviceable, or the obsolescence is built in, we can't get parts, something goes wrong 5 years out. Remember that a sign lives outside. Electronics and outdoor applications are generally not a good mix, but I would be in favor of exploring some more options, including grant funding, and holding off on it for now. I don't really think we need another communication channel for daily communications. For emergency stuff, that's another discussion.
So I think, I brought this up a number of years ago under my old job, so I think we should get it. Of course, I only have, after tonight, 3 more meetings, so it's really up to next year's council, I guess, pretty much. But I just think, besides the emergencies, just the everyday, this is going on, that's going, I mean, not the daily meeting schedule, but certainly, health departments doing whatever clinic they're doing at the municipal building, basketball sign, or whatever, recreation signups or whatever. Fire department's having an event, opens, whoever's having an event, at council meetings on a certain night. I just think the sandwich board signs, you can't really even read. When you drive by, if you walk by, you can see them. And I think saying, well, technology is going to change in 10 years. Well, yeah. So are we not buying computers now? Are we not buying TVs now? Like, we have to buy electronics now. And yes, they will go out of, they will be obsolete in 5, 6, 7 years. And then you get something new. But I just think, or maybe you don't have to. I mean, this sign will probably last for a while. But if we wait 10 years, none of us are probably going to be on this council for 10 years. I certainly won't be. But I think in this day and age, we need to be able to get out messages quickly. And also just the routine stuff that people see that, maybe they don't go on maybe they don't go on the website, maybe they're not signed up for PG Notify or even Nextdoor. That seems to be the other thing, or Facebook or whatever. But people drive by the municipal buildings and the municipal building on Main Street in both directions. Right now, the sign that we have was purchased it was grant money, we got it for free, was a 2008 sign. So that end of life is coming very soon, and that's one direction. I think next year we need to look into getting a second sign like that, just for whatever, so we can move it around town, so we have 2. But like I said, that sign's going to be eventually not working, and then we're going to have no sign. So, but I think something outside the municipal building, we can make it tasteful, fit in conjunction with the other signs with the new logo and everything else. But I think it's very important that people drive by the municipal building sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day in both directions, and I think it's very important.
So
But I guess we'll
find
yeah.
those images and share
Yeah.
them.
That'd be great.
So,
Yeah.
so I think what we need to do is, I'm hearing enough interest in it that we should still pursue some sort of digital solution, even if it's not the low-key one below the sign that Amy and I were envisioning. So perhaps we might consider being a little more creative, maybe an exterior television monitor that hangs on hooks below the sign, or even another 2 posts with a separate sign on the municipal property apart from the muni building sign. So I think I'm hearing enough interest that we should at least try to pursue this from some other angle. Is that?
I just think the smallest footprint of digital impact is what I'm looking for. If we're gonna go down that path of kind of changing the look out front, I wouldn't necessarily want a second sign, but
I think
I'd love
when
to
I
see
say like
some-
one on top of the other,
Yeah,
like so you
yeah,
have.
yeah,
the-
I just think of them with the signs, but then maybe
Yeah,
the space
no,
below
not
for
like
the-
sign here and sign here. No, just
Right,
one
we could
sign.
just mention a second sign, so.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just an option. I'm just looking at one note that we got back from Meg, who looked into this also for us. And she said, she wrote, I'm just gonna tell you what she wrote. I did ask Karen is the rep from Lines and Letters, who's doing the other, regular signs, about a vendor for a digital sign. She and I had spoken about it a while ago. She just called to say she spoke with a vendor she works with, and they don't wanna give us a quote, cause they don't think it would look good. And also would be very noticeable and require 220 volts. She wrote amps, but that can't be, to set up. Not sure where to go from here, but I agree, we do have the large portable digital sign that can alert residents of pressing issues. Hopefully that might suffice. So Meg as a designer wasn't keen on it, but she's certainly not the final say the council is.
So I think, Mark, it wasn't a consensus of the council that we get the digital sign. It was the consensus of the council that we would look at the alternatives to a traditional sign. So perhaps show the traditional and the least offensive digital sign, have the prices, and then at a subsequent meeting, we would then give consensus one way or the other.
I think we should have something to look at.
Yeah,
Okay. Is that Lines and Letters in Bridgewater?
Yes, I believe so. Let me just verify that.
Probably, yeah. I think they used to do our police cars years ago.
They said they did.
Yeah, they became very expensive. But they do signs like this, perfect.
They came in, actually, I think they were the lowest price of anybody.
I mean, I think they're more of a sign maker than they are
Yeah, probably.
vinyl
Yeah,
graphics.
vinyl graphic.
Yeah. But they do good work.
Of course, I'm finding all my notes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Bridgewater.
Yep. Okay. Oh. All right. So we'll come back with something else, or with some ideas, pictures, whatever. Anything else under old business?
So
Oh.
Mayor, this is something old business and new business. Our friends the geese over at the pond.
Okay.
So, as the council knows, the lighting system we had in there had some effect on the geese. They're not there all the time.
That's
but
the amber lights.
It's the amber lights. But I did do a count before and after the construction, and the number of non-migratory geese is about the same. They're just not there as frequently. So it's a step in the right direction. So the next step is there's a company called Messina's, who has a state contract for a goose repellent that is fairly reasonably priced, and they guarantee that it will work. It has to be a monthly application. It's a non-toxic, sort of no EPA approval is required. The amount is about $450 an application, applications at a monthly interval. And we can certainly try this because we're running out of options. And I just wanted to see, I just received the proposal a few hours ago. Is this something the council would like us to consider?
is it all monthly, all year, is it seasonal? or-
Yeah, so I got the sense it was when you stop, they come back.
Okay,
So,
and do you know, is it malodorous, like, how?
yes. Yeah, so it's malodorous to the geese, but not to humans.
Okay.
And again, they have a state contract, so we don't have to go through competitive bidding. The price with the application on 3 1/4 acres is about $425, so it's not onerous. And we'll know very quickly if it works or not, and if it doesn't, we'll get our money back.
It seems worth it to try it at that
Yes.
price.
Dawn, I had mentioned that to you because I've
You did,
noticed.
yes.
Okay, so the reporting back is it stopped for about 3 weeks. They were gone immediately after. But then we did have some rain and they came back. So
Did he reapply?
No.
So that's, in the quote, he says very specifically
Yeah.
that it must be reapplied.
right,
Now, with the amount we pay on that park, I don't mind a $400 a month charge if it's gonna get rid of the
yeah.
geese.
Under
was-
5,000 a year.
So nice when the geese were gone.
So we
It
tried
was
it,
it's
you know.
such a big difference of not having those droppings.
We
So-
tried it.
No, where I live, they tried. They use it,
okay.
and it did work. And then they came back. So we
Okay.
need to do that again. But I would just make sure that you're trying it. You want to make sure it's working. But I did see a noticeable difference. For 3 weeks they were gone.
Okay.
So
Nancy, I'll send you the information.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll try it for 3 months, and there's very little risk.
And the
because-
difference that you're talking about, you're talking about them being gone and not just gone part of the day and having the numbers be constant.
No,
I
they
mean,
were
They were gone.
absent.
Gone.
Yeah.
And we're about to go into migratory season, and what concerns me is the fecal matter.
Yes.
Both in the pond and in walkways.
Which is more than humans produce. I forget the numbers, but when I worked at the park commission, when they were telling me, like, just 4 geese is just, it blows your mind how much pollutants they put into the water.
Just one thing, I wasn't sorry, I probably wasn't paying attention. The 3 treatments are for what period of time?
It'd be for 3 months, so that would take us
It's
through the
needs
winter.
once
So
a
it's
month.
essentially $130 a month
No, it's
No.
$450 a
for
month.
3, oh no, it's
Each.
Each.
Oh, with each
For each
treatment.
treatment.
It's-
It's
it-
1,200.
I don't have the, I just looked at this, it's about $140 per acre, and that includes the chemical and the application. They will apply it, we don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don,
3
do you-
months, try it. Yeah.
Do you have more information? Do you have like a material safety data sheet?
So there's no material safety data sheet required because it's an organic substance that they
Okay.
use. No EPA registration required.
Uh-huh.
But I do have the state contract info and the flyers, and I can send that to, I'll send it to
I
everybody.
just want to make sure it's not harmful to other animals, people bring their pets to the park, or small children, or anything else.
That's a good
People
point.
might have allergies
Yeah.
if it's, if it's airborne for a period of time.
It just, as much information as we can get on that, I think
Yeah,
would be helpful.
I'll send it to everybody.
Okay.
And then if anyone, Nancy, maybe wait 2 weeks before
Yeah.
you
Like
place the order.
also, I mean, I'd be curious, I mean, after they spray, how, I mean, can the park be used immediately?
Yes, he did mention specifically that it dries almost instantly and it can be used immediately, and there's no toxicity for it.
I'll wait until the next
You're
meeting.
feeling okay, right,
See if
Amy?
anybody has
Cool.
any
I feel
questions
fine.
then.
Okay.
You know, did
So-
Harper
My dog-
notice anything?
Been looking a little
No, except
peaky.
she misses the droppings that she likes to pick up, so.
Okay.
And Amy, thank you for referring to
Oh,
Mo.
you're welcome.
Okay, that was old new business.
Old business.
Any old business? Old business? All right, we'll move on to new business. Real new business. Yeah, new
Yeah,
business.
Actually, one item of new business is now old business. The gym floor has just been redone. Dan's back there, he spearheaded the resurfacing of the floor, just in time for the elections tomorrow, so that if the doors are open and it's a little drafty, that's why, but we now have a new surface on the gym floor.
Okay. Any other new business? That's new old business.
It's in the middle.
Just, I'm thinking that Dan's here. So Dan, when the Art in the Park event was held, which was very good, indelible paint was used on the roadway, and that's gonna have to be sandblasted off. And that's gonna cost a lot of money. So we need to find out what happened there, because this is gonna cost thousands to remove it.
Where did, on Main Street?
No, on
Mark-
Lackawanna.
Lackawanna?
It looks like parking spots are painted.
Yeah.
I think because they put the vendors on that street.
They marked where the vendors go.
marked where the
Right,
vendors-
it was supposed to be chalk, though. Those
It
would be-
was supposed to be chalk.
Yeah, and those instructions went out very clearly, so, yeah, I'll work with Brad and under property to get that taken.
The instructions went out to who?
The people planning.
Was it our people? Oh.
Part of the park committee, I guess they had presented to you using Lackawanna, I'm sure it came up that.
Yeah, these are volunteers, I'm not angry at anybody, but it does have to be removed, and my bigger concern is if we ever do something like this again, let's use the chalk.
Any other new business? Okay, out of new and old and new, and moving on to miscellaneous discussions and approvals. Jamie?
So yeah, I can start with this quilt donation. So my neighbor, Bernice Coop, has lived in this town her whole life. Her great-grandfather was the first mayor in town, John Bodine, who lived on Jackson in the Victorian. And his wife created this quilt, and it was presented in Philadelphia at the Centennial Celebration in 1876. And so it's been in our family for, nearly 150 years. And she's an elderly woman, and she's lovely, and she would like the town to have it. So I'll unfold it so you all can see. 1876, and she stored it in a pillowcase.
Yeah.
So,
And you tried to fit it in the coffee cup?
And you have it here.
Wow.
See your hand there?
I'd be afraid
Oh,
to
wow.
touch it.
Oh,
isn't
wow.
that amazing?
How many stars on the flag?
I know there's, I think 43 if I counted. And I tried, and it's also registered with a historic society. There used to be in New Jersey, like Historical Quilt Society. It dissolved, but it is registered at Rutgers as a historical quilt. And so I tried to do research on the number of stars, and I couldn't find out. Sure. And then-
Wait,
So-
that's all embroidered?
I'm gonna take
Isn't
a
that
picture of this
amazing?
for the HPC.
And can you believe it was?
Do we want to turn it, do we want to
Yeah, I'll
turn
turn
it?
it so that folks.
But upside down. No.
Was it upside? Oh, yeah.
Well, Wash George's.
So
And so,
we should
That's in remarkable condition.
put that in a glass case.
well, so Bernie
You should,
specifically asked for it to stay in the municipal building.
Right, oh, yeah.
Not in the scout cabin.
No,
'cause I
no.
got in a conversation about her about where
No, it needs to be
things-
climate controlled or
Right,
relative.
so,
They
she would
like,
love.
they gotta rotate it so the sun doesn't hit it the same
Right,
way.
it definitely should be out of the sun.
Yeah.
Put it in this room.
Does
Yeah.
it? I was
That's what I
looking
was
at
just
that
thinking,
wall.
maybe up on the back wall
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, take that.
Behind plastic.
No, behind Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the spot.
I was gonna say. back
That's the
there,
best spot to
and we
have it,
can
right
get,
there.
like, we can get
The public would love
plexiglass
it.
that is got to go over it. We can get a nice big piece of plexiglass to go over it as a frame.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It won't
That
cost a
was
lot of
at
money,
the-
it'll be well preserved.
Centennial.
1870, the centennial celebration, the 100th anniversary of the
United
country
States.
in Philly in 1876.
That's remarkable.
I know.
That
Isn't
is
crazy?
amazing.
And we need to get a little plaque explaining, like putting,
Yes.
yeah, just, wow, that is,
So I did reach out to the Historical Society so I can give that information, and I'm happy to write a little blurb. But she's very sweet, and she really wanted everyone in the town to be able to enjoy it, so.
How nice
so
is that?
how about
So
if
we
we,
are donating it to the Historical
Where's the
Society
pillowcase?
to,
It's in the
to take
coffee
care of
cup.
it and to,
We will, you mentioned plastic, I don't know if that's like the best thing these days, or if you're better off with a wooden, hanging thing, whatever the current point of view is from Historic Quilt Society of New Jersey or America. But this is just such a treat, it's just such a beautiful piece.
so Jamie, do you think if we, I'm assuming we want to get this mounted sooner than later, but then maybe have Bernice,
I
is
asked
she-
her to come tonight, and she's a little shy, but I bet if we put it out in an area
Yeah.
to
I mean,
display,
if,
she'd
once it's
come.
displayed, we
She
can
loves
sort
to
of,
talk about her
we can
family.
unveil it
Yeah.
and do a
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
unveiling.
She's
And
given some other things.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a council meeting, but we could have a.
Sure.
I-
She's the precious lady that is bent over on her lawn on Willow
She rakes her
so
own leaves.
often and does weeds.
Yeah,
I even stopped one time to make sure she was okay. She was, that bent over.
Wow.
If we're gonna.
Yeah. I
make her
if
do
we're
mine
gonna-
now.
if we're gonna build a frame for this.
I was
and
gonna
put it
say,
on
Jamie, why don't you help her?
I know. Oh, we help her.
People might go there, I think, or if there's room in the hallway outside or something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We need some color in here.
Yeah.
We'll move the Constitution.
Oh,
All right,
that's
thanks, Donna.
Thank you.
Yeah, put the
Thank you.
Constitution
Yes.
over there.
The Historic Commission, I've told them about it. We're meeting again next Monday, so we'll start a discussion. I'm sure we're gonna need some funding, additional funding for preserving it, and maybe,
It comes out of buildings and grounds, right? We'll,
Yeah.
we'll,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
We'll find the money.
okay.
Yeah, and Donna, for the plastic, I don't think we were looking to encapsulate it, I think we're
No.
looking for a
Like-
cover.
like a
so there's-
plexiglass.
So there's still be air.
Right, yeah.
I bet I could build something very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can, I think we can get Brad to get Ed to
Yeah.
build something and
So
we'll.
this will be residing at my home in the
Spin her attic.
meantime.
wow.
And we'll start our discussion
Yes.
next Monday
Okay.
when, we moved our historic commission meeting to next Monday.
Something like
Okay.
that.
All right, well, let me know,
We
Donna.
didn't interfere with
Skimp
this
on the
meeting.
money.
That is,
Okay.
thank
We
you.
wanted Amy at our meeting,
protect.
so,
Thank you.
We'll send Bernice a thank you note, a thank you letter.
Yes, I can do that.
and she pronounces it
Burnus.
Burnus,
Oh,
Yeah.
Bernice.
but she does have an E at the end of it?
Burnus, yeah, Burnus Coop.
Wow, that's amazing, thank you.
And her, the ancestor was from 1912 to 1930, he was the mayor of this town.
He's on the board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And he was the first one listed.
I only lasted
in
4 years, I'm a
this book.
slacker.
No,
John
18 years.
Bodine.
Vote on.
Yeah.
And he lived
Yeah.
in the.
We have a street named after him.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and her family's lived in the town her whole life. They've
Yeah,
never
so
lived
cool.
anywhere else.
So cool, so thank you
I
all.
think she's almost 90.
Thank you, Donna.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank you.
And any of you that, spot things like this, even if it's at a garage sale, a picture or whatever, pick it up, let us know. Pass it on.
Will do, thank you. Okay, moving on to others, open gym proposal.
Okay, I'll take that one. I asked Dan Dolan, our rec director, to be here tonight because we had 2 volunteers for a subcommittee to put together a proposal for resuming open gym, which you received in your packets. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. I mean, they're recommending, we bring it back to 2 days a week, and we make a hire for $15 an hour for about 12 hours a week. Dan, I think the only other thing is, you don't want this to be a rec employee, you want this to be a borough employee, correct?
What's the difference?
Well, who the person's supervisor is gonna be? Who's,
Could be me or it could be Nancy, I don't care.
okay. Just wanna make sure of that.
But then you could hire the person, you know, for up to those 12 hours. You could have, if they do cohorts, which is a new word now, right? Of little kids, say 7 to 10, we could mandate a parent or an adult has to be with a group of kids, like Jamie, like we used to do.
Sure.
Kids sat in here. But then when you get to be teens and tweens, that's when the problems start, from what I learned from you guys.
And, yeah, you know, I think, the more I think about it, even for the parents, the kids get to a certain age where,
Oh, yeah.
you're just somebody else's, parent. They're not gonna listen to you any more than they listen to their own parents.
Say anybody from 11 up, the monitor should be there.
Yeah.
But we could mandate from 7 to 10, if we start at 7 years old, we could, you wanna tweak it to 6 or whatever. Maybe that's where a parent would have to be there.
Right, because you
Most
don't want a
people would
person to be a
off the field.
babysitter.
Yeah.
Right, you just want someone to monitor the safety and so you're saying, thinking about 12 hours a week?
That's the recommendation,
Okay.
about 12 hours a week.
And-
It was 2 weekdays and partial weekend,
Okay.
and
And,
more on when there's no school or.
right, so I was gonna ask, is it open gym, is it gonna be seasonal, only like when they can't really be outside on the courts, like
It
just?
could be year round, but, if you want it to be seasonal, you'd save some money doing that, right? Then they should be outside in the summer, it's boiling hot here.
Right, I just don't want it to be thrown away money. I mean, my kid would use it all the time, I know, but I have an outlier, so I just don't want it to be a situation. I mean, we can play it by ear.
Well,
But when you hire
I mean, to me, starting with the two afternoons a week,
Mhm.
I'd wanna go baby steps with
Yeah.
it. Because, we could go through a half dozen monitors before we find somebody who's, really right for the job, if you will. This is, I would wanna start small and just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, I think it's for like a retired mayor kind of position.
Look, Jamie,
Well, he's not babysitting enough kids on his regular job?
Jamie, I'm gonna cite you for elder abuse now.
I didn't say elder, I said retired.
Well,
Well, to be honest, the person in mind would be a retired person, who would probably have no qualms about.
Wow.
asking somebody.
I'm thinking a retired school teacher now, because I know somebody who has no qualms.
Well, we did have a conversation, we didn't think it would be a great job for a teen who would maybe not feel like,
No,
Yeah.
no,
you know,
definitely.
you need
definitely.
authority.
so.
Speaking of retired or elderly, or however you want to phrase it, as I looked at this list of ages, this has been in my mind, I feel like we should designate some morning time for older residents to walk in the gym, or I guess whatever they want to do in the gym, right? Especially in the wintertime when it's safer to walk inside than on sidewalks, and it just might be a good, physical well-being thing for the older residents to have that option.
And they wouldn't need it.
No, they don't need someone.
They could do it during.
We'll get an 11-year-old to monitor this.
Yeah.
Well, they could be the most wild ones
Right.
going.
I did buy and it's not open yet because we were
John.
before, a volleyball, a portable volleyball. It also can be used for badminton and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that, so maybe
Right.
they want to do badminton, or shoot baskets, or.
Yeah, maybe. It would have to be designated as their time, kind of like the Adult Swim.
Yeah, I was
you
just
know?
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Because you
I always
don't want
hated Adult Swim.
kids to creep into the
I
adult
really-
time. So, and I think it's just really special for the adult residents in our town to know that there is time for them. We put a lot into our kids, which is great, but older people especially need time out to.
Maybe the
Right,
retired
you can do
mayor
it
will
during
walk
school
around
hours,
here
or
in the
you're not
morning.
gonna have it,
Yeah.
kind of contaminated with kids.
Right.
So-
Right.
Sure.
And I also am in favor of trying this, but not in the summer, because I feel like we might get 1 or 2 kids, and then we're paying someone to
Yeah.
manage
Yeah, no,
1 or 2
definitely.
kids. I think
Yeah, I think
summer
a
is
seasonal
like
thing.
there's rec camp and all that other stuff. So
I struggle to get kids to come to afternoon rec, we don't get more than 12,
Yeah.
15 tops at that, so that's the time frame this would fall in anyway.
okay,
Yes.
so maybe like Memorial Day is kind of like an end point.
Yeah, Labor Day,
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John or Dan, in looking at the cost costs, one thing I didn't notice was the cleanup costs. So is that a separate line item, or is that something the borough pays for outside of the rec?
I would be candid,
Maybe that's
it's not a line item, I would just, assume it would be, our regular service coming in there, afterwards. I mean, with the monitor there, hopefully there's not gonna be a whole lot in the way of cleanup. I mean,
Well, apparently Saturday morning would be an issue, right? Because we
Biggest
don't
time.
have a custodian then, but that's why the men's basketball program had kind of hired the custodian to come in.
No, we do have a custodian on
Yeah.
We do have
Saturday.
a
Oh, we do on
custodian
Saturdays?
Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, but only till
This-
1 o'clock, right?
Right, so it would have to
I
be
mean-
just morning.
I will say that this program would need to be a budgeted item because recreation is, their money is dwindling and they don't have a lot. And if we were to do this and say we did it for 48 weeks or we did it for 24 weeks or 26 weeks or whatever, the price is going to bring their budget, what they have in their account down. So I think that this would have to be a budgeted item that came from
The
the
town.
I may not agree with you. Let me give my thoughts on this. First of all, we made a commitment to open gym a few years ago. It didn't go well because we didn't plan it well, and we had issues in there. But I am very open to this program. The open gym. Here's what I'm thinking as I had read this and digested it. First of all, the monitor absolutely has to be an adult. It cannot be a teenager or somebody. Because you're not gonna let your friend get away with stuff. You have to have an adult in there. I don't think their numbers are reasonable here. You can't get people to work at Starbucks for $18 an hour. So I think you're gonna be paying north of that for something like this, or about that for this. Also, because this is a salary, payroll position, the estimates here don't include fringe. So you need to assume another 20% on top of that. So realistically, you're looking at, for just the 15-hour week, for the 12 hours a week, you're probably looking at $14,000 a year for this position, for a full year.
But
Now,
I think
we're only gonna
they-
do it 3/4 of the year, because
Yeah,
we're not gonna do
you'd be-
summer.
be taking that
So
number
take
down.
3/4, figure 12 grand is what it's gonna cost for a monitor. I do think the Recreation Trust Fund should pay for it, and I think we have plenty of money in the Rec Trust Fund to cover it. You have $120,000 in an account right now. Assuming you did, you were at 120, 12, 10 years worth.
No?
Yeah, how much is in it right now? It's low.
It's at $90,000.
The last financial report said 120, but maybe it's down.
It's like,
Okay. But even at that's years of coverage until we really have a money issue. So I do think it
But-
should cover it.
But the only, what I said-
Lastly,
but-
let me just finish. Lastly, I would want to see how this works. It's a great idea until a monitor is sitting in there and no kids show up most of the time, and then it's wasted money. So I would like to see us trial this for 6 months. Say start January 1, run it until Memorial Day, which is when we're going to kill it, and stop it for the summer anyway. And let the monitor keep a log of how many people attend and use it. If we're finding it's not being used, it would be certainly wasteful to continue it.
I wouldn't even have a problem cutting it short if the numbers,
Shorter than that, if no
if the
one's
numbers after 8 weeks were.
Sure, so what were you gonna say?
We're short. On the issue of the recreation trust fund, there are other capital projects out there, that Dan has been exploring with the rec commission to utilize those monies for. We've had some back and forth on the repair of the tennis courts. He's gonna be looking to replace the backboards in the gym at some point in time. These are all big ticket items that if that 90,000 it drops down to 20,000, these projects aren't gonna get
The
done.
reason I'm suggesting we fund the first 6 months of it from the rec trust fund, remember, I'm not saying the whole program, I'm saying the first 6 months, is that you can start January 1. Otherwise, it has to wait till the budget passes, which is gonna be March, April. If we agree to it now, and you hire somebody in December, you could start January 1, having 2 days a week of open gym. And by the way, I'm very much in favor of nobody under the age of 10. I was gonna say nobody under the age of 12, honestly, unless their parent is there, but whatever you think is best. And I do think, I'm sorry, Dan, I do think Dan should manage it. He's organized, he will put the programs in place, he'll put the hourly schedules, and he'll train the monitor.
Dan, you made the fatal mistake of doing a good job.
He just also raised the price to
I do think, I mean, maybe it's naive of me, I think $15 an hour to sit and, I mean, they're not, at Starbucks, you're making coffee, you're moving around, you're doing stuff, and this person's going to be sitting, just making sure nothing goes wrong. So I don't think it's wrong to start at 15 an hour.
I just
For
think there's
this-
no one out there to work for 50, there's no people, you can't even get regular labor.
Well,
Maybe if we
I'm
can, I'm
thinking,
fine for that.
right,
I'm fine.
I'm just thinking that hopefully, you know, someone who's not working in town, who just wants a little something to do for however many hours a week.
Yeah, you're looking at a crossing guard demographic,
Right,
you know, so $15, $18, something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right on the
They're
mark.
22 in Burnsville.
I had a friend, I saw him today in Burnsville ShopRite, he was almost took, he's a retired gentleman, he almost took a job for Costco, it was 14 now.
Yeah,
So,
But that's with benefits usually though,
I
right?
don't know, it
Yeah.
was part-time. See,
Okay.
this is I'm only thinking the person you would hire would be a part-time.
Yes.
Oh,
And
you
then-
try at 15, if we get nobody, then we have to
Right.
raise it. I mean, it's
Exactly.
like, don't,
Yes, that's right,
yeah.
that's exactly right.
I mean, school bus drivers are
Hey, perfect for
40 bucks an
college
hour and they're
student.
8 hours, so.
But most
that's CDL, but
importantly, we
Yeah.
want a
Yeah.
log of
Yeah.
who's using it.
We
Maybe
don't need to
even
know
a
who's
sign.
using it, we just need to know the numbers.
yeah, how many,
Right,
yeah,
the
not
numbers,
who.
yeah.
Now, can the person ask somebody, like say an adult walks in, do they ask them for an ID? Because that's how you know who's using it.
Well, an adult wouldn't be using it during
No,
children's
no,
open
bring his
gym.
child
I don't think, no,
I don't
just
think we need to know
clicker.
the person, just how many.
Like a clicker, like 10 people used it today.
Oh, no,
4
but what I
people.
think is Dan is saying is if somebody walks in with a child and they're 9 years old, how do you know?
I think you
You have
gotta
to
play
take their
it.
word.
You gotta play that by
Yeah,
ear.
it has to be an honesty.
You gotta take their word. Okay,
So where we go, how we going forward?
Start January first.
consent, yes.
Consent to do this, we'll do it January 1st to Memorial Day, and,
Look, analyze the results
Yeah.
at that point.
Trial period out of the rec trust fund and then further budgeting to
Right.
continue upon success.
And I think by budget
the
time you'll have an
budget
idea,
time we'll
yeah.
have an idea,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you
When you go get approval from the.
and Dan set up the interviews.
Yep.
No, you
Take
don't
care
have
of
to.
that.
I don't think, do you have to?
I think so, it's their money.
Council has the right to disperse that money as well.
I think we should, as a courtesy, we should let them know
Yeah.
Yeah.
what the decision was. Obviously, we're not.
When's your next rec meeting?
30,
Pardon?
30.
Okay. So, yeah,
Just to be clear, it's not their money, it's the town's money.
No, I respect,
You
I
know.
understand that, but they do.
but yeah, let them know at the next meeting, cause then we have our first December meeting is the beginning of the
December
month.
6th.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the month, it's the first Tuesday, not the second, so if we need to do anything, we can do it in December, early December, and if we have to do anything further as a council, so I think that's, yeah, bring it to your meeting at the end of the month. And, hopefully we can get open gym back.
And again, the point of doing it out of rec trust fund for the 6-month trial is so we can get it started immediately.
Also,
And that would be maybe $4,000.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And there should be a resolution. If we're bringing someone on board, or hiring somebody, there should be a resolution.
Okay.
Agreed.
Right, we would, when we
Yeah.
hire that person, we would do the resolution that
Can we do that by the end of the year?
if we get,
Yeah.
if we can find somebody by the
Find
end of the year, we
someone,
can do the resolution.
It doesn't have to be done next year is what I'm saying, cause it's a next year program.
No, it can be
Okay.
done this year.
Okay.
Yes, we can hire somebody this year, they're starting
Starting,
January,
got it.
whatever.
Okay.
And is there a certain way you have to post this job opportunity, or can you do it more low-key? I mean, could it be something that you also post on Nextdoor to see if there's a?
We can post it on the website and we can post it in the Bernardsville News. I really, I wouldn't go out to the, and post it on the league website because we're not looking for something, along that line, but I would keep it
Local.
local.
Right, I just didn't know if we could keep.
And
it
we would
local
have
or
to
post
do the
something on
recreation
Nextdoor.
We need
background
to
check on
post
them,
something.
correct? Because they have contact
Yeah.
with kids, yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
absolutely do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they have to get fingerprinted and all that.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to be a resident.
No,
No.
No.
but they need to be vetted, because last thing we need to do is,
Yes.
Just like we do our coaches.
right, yep, okay. Okay, so we have consensus, we have consensus, do that, right? Let's just go down the table, John, Amy,
Check.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
yes,
Yes.
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 okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Consensus, thank you.
Thanks, Dan, for being here.
Okay, moving on to minutes, regular meeting minutes.
Wait, I'm sorry, Mayor, I have one miscellaneous item.
Okay, sorry.
I just want the council to know that I'm planning to have a town hall meeting here. Monday, December 12th, 7 PM. And the purpose of this is we are getting closer to the affordables being constructed on the Smith tract. And
Apgar
I think
Avenue.
it's only fair that the residents of that neighborhood be invited in so we could talk about it with them and let them know what's happening, exactly what's happening and what is planned there and the process that will go through to get built and how we intend to, road access and all that. I would suspect that because it's a town hall, any council member can attend as a resident, but 3 of us will be here as representatives, and I was hoping, I know the mayor's in with me on it, and then John, I'd hope you'd be as well.
The Affordable Housing Committee.
Yeah, as the Affordable Housing Committee. And I've also scheduled John Zabo to be here, he's our planner, as you know, to answer questions from that angle as well. The big question will come up is the road traffic on Apgar, and I hope he'll be qualified to answer that based on a prior opinion. So that is the 12th, and invites will be going out to the residents of the 3 streets abutting the property.
At what time? 7 PM?
7 PM, yeah.
On what was the date?
December 12th.
Monday,
Mark-
the 12th.
Mark, not to run up the bill for the town hall, but do we want Roger there as well? Because just to kind of drive home that none of this is a done deal, that there will be a land use board site plan hearing on it and what that process is.
John, I thought about that, and if you think it's a great idea, I'll have Roger here.
Well, it's just a
Wouldn't
question of
hurt.
whether you and me and Greg driving it home, as
It's
that
different.
it's not, I guess, John Zabel can speak intelligently on that as well.
Yes or so?
No, Zabel can speak intelligently, but that's gonna be one of the important things to get up front and center with them, is that there's multiple hearings ahead.
Just the fact that you questioned that makes me think we should have Roger.
Probably not a bad idea.
Probably not
You
a
talked
bad
me
idea.
into it.
Probably not a bad idea.
Okay.
Roger will be happy.
Yes.
We could have John Bruder, but,
You'll be happier.
He doesn't like to talk about affordable housing, John Bruder.
Okay, anything else for miscellaneous discussions and approvals? Moving on to minutes, regular meeting minutes of October 25th, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Caminiti?
Yes.
Council President Corliano?
yes.
Councilwoman Dietrich?
Yes.
Councilman Lemma?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney?
Aye.
Executive session meeting minutes of October 25th, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Caminiti?
Yes.
Council President Corliano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dietrich?
Yes.
Councilman Lemma?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to resolutions. Anybody have a problem with doing a consent
No.
agenda? Okay, resolutions are 217 through 221. Do I have a motion to approve resolutions 217, 218, 219, 220, and 221?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Caminiti?
Yes.
Council President Corliano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dietrich?
Yes.
Councilman Lemma?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to bills list, resolution 222-22. Approval of bills assigned listed on the bill payment list. Can you please read the amount?
$1,390,219.37.
Is there anything that needs to be pulled for discussion? Okay, motion to approve resolution 222-22.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call vote.
Councilman Caminiti?
Yes.
Council President Corliano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dietrich?
Yes.
Councilman Lemma?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to public comments, 3 minutes per person for agenda items. It's the policy of the Borough Council that all public comments on an issue shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. No debating between residents. Comments should be addressed to the mayor and council, public microphone, or online. Andrew, do you have anything? Okay, is anybody online?
Nobody is online.
Okay, closing the public comment section. Is there any further business? I do have one thing, this Friday at 7 o'clock at the, behind the firehouse, we're having a flag retirement ceremony. All the flags we've been collecting, and it's gone out on Nextdoor, it's been on Facebook, etc. So if anybody, tell your neighbors, friends, whatever, if they have flags, they don't have to bring them to the municipal building, they can just bring them to the firehouse. We're gonna have a pretty neat ceremony retiring all those flags. So, 7 o'clock at and the fire department, the police department, and squad are helping out, so, hopefully we'll have more of those down the road. So, plus it's Veterans Day, so it's a neat thing to be doing on Veterans Day. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Next meeting of mayor and council will be held on Tuesday, November 22nd this year at 7 p.m.